welcome back to the channel. It's nice to see you after a couple of days off. Pardon the voice. It's kind of gone after chatting for CM Punk all weekend. And pardon the absence post monstrosity on Saturday. I've had a lot of people, both Celtic fans and non-Celtic fans, asking me, where's my post-match reaction? What do I think about the game? What am I saying to you? What's going to happen next? Are we in trouble? Yada, yada. People think I'm hiding. No, I just had a trip. I wasn't able to come on and do my stuff. So, I am knackered though, just very quickly. I've had about 6 hours sleep between 9 and 3 or something today. I was up for about 28 straight hours in London and all, between airports and all the rest of it. I'm absolutely knackered, so I might not be at top form. In fact, my camera looks squint. Like, is that it straight? I might not be on top form this evening, but we're certainly going to give it a go. And we're certainly going to try and get things covered because, boy, do we have a lot to cover. We have now officially entered the last week of the transfer window. The mess that is will culminate on Friday when the window slams shut. And also, of course, we've now entered Derby week because on Sunday we take on Rangers. Who's Rangers? We take on Rangers at Ibrox, which is now turned into a game that holds so much importance for both sides. When if you went back 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think if you go back to post first game of the season, God, I was looking forward to that game. I was looking forward to the situation that both sides were going to be in, but suddenly it's changed, and we'll talk all about that because that obviously links into what we've seen on Saturday. But it's a massive week for Celtic, and as I titled the podcast last week on Friday, the last episode of the Celtic Thunder, this is a season-defining week for Celtic now. This is massive. We need to go out there and have a successful end to the transfer window. We need to complete, obviously, the signing of Louis Palma and more. And then on Sunday, God, we need to avoid defeat at Ibrox. We really do, because the atmosphere at Celtic Park come the 90th minute on Saturday was... it was toxic, wasn't it? It was a little bit... Not everybody was throwing their toys out the pram and greeting and crying, and, like, everybody kind of was more in... I felt like in my section anyway, there was more of just a shock value of what we had witnessed, But listen, everybody's entitled to how they felt. It was a disgraceful performance, and I think that, voicing concerns is more than valid, and I'm sure there'll be a few voiced on this live stream by both myself and the live chat, but we'll come on to it. Thank you to Chris, who said, I thought you quit, but you're back, unlike Jota. Yeah, I don't think Jota's going to be back anytime soon, but no, I've not quit, don't worry, I've not quit. I was just down in London for AEW, and thank you as well to Cassidus, who's donated £2 saying, welcome back, Ryan. I need that Fitzsimons fix. Yes, well, don't worry, you're going to get it today. Listen, we've got a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into my thoughts on Saturday very quickly, because I, like the rest of you, probably don't want to think about Saturday anymore. I was down in London with just one of my mates yesterday, and the minute that we met to go to the airport, I just said, you know what, we're banned for talking about Celtic. I didn't even want to speak about Celtic for that 24 hours. I was like, nope. Don't want to do it, and I kind of want to keep that going here. By the way, donations flying in. I'll cover this just very quickly because I see the man himself. Where is he? Let me pull him up on the screen. Where is he? The man. Legend. Love you, David. Just a couple of quid to help out an unemployed pal. God, how the turns have tabled, eh? Thank you. I'll go down in the feeds and get myself a caramel. And Aidan, thank you for or Adam, sorry, can't read this. I'm that tired. £10, legend, mate. Thank you, very generous. But yeah, anyway. I put a ban on talking about Celtic. I don't think a lot of us want to talk about Celtic, and that performance in particular about Celtic right now. I think a lot of us want to get that out the way and move on and try and get things better. However, the past couple of performances, Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, St Johnstone at Celtic Park, they have been concerning. And listen, I'm still confident of where we go this season. Like, despite what we're seeing and understanding all the concerns under the sun, I think I'm just one of the more optimistic fans who understands that right now it's a struggle, but we're going to get through it. But that game, that performance in particular, was not what we needed. And the manager should have known that, because we are at risk of things turning very, very toxic very, very quickly. It's already starting. the social media reaction to the game, the in-ground reaction to the game, really showed that Brendan Rodgers doesn't have a lot of time here to try and turn things around should he want the support of the Celtic fans. Now listen, there's still going to be a plentiful amount who will back him and who will want him to do well and who will believe in what he's doing. But you need to make that easier on yourself. And the manager has to take responsibility for that on Saturday, as well as the team. Like, everybody's got a shared responsibility in this, but especially the manager, because the way they were sent out to play, we could have added on another 90 minutes to that game, and Celtic wouldn't have scored a goal. And that comes from the instructions of what we're to do. The ball was going side to side. Players like Scales and McGregor were refusing to pass it forward. That's the sort of thing that the manager should be changing either at the start of a game, telling them not to do it, or through the game at least. At least drilling it into them, right, listen boys, this isn't working. Let's speed it up. Let's up the tempo. Let's be more ambitious. Let's try something. But no, it was just back and forward to the centre halves, or the full backs, and side to side. And I think that, we're in a real pickle, because we're obviously coming off of this situation with Ange where he was playing wonderful football. It was captivating Celtic fans, and now we watch him doing it with Spurs, going, damn, wish we had that. And we're not getting that. And it's hard, because not many managers are going to be able to come in and replicate that. As quick as it is and easy it is to jump in and pretend that another manager might have came in and been able to carry it on exactly. It's never as simple as that. But that puts us in the right situation, because people are craving that. People want to see that again. People miss it. And that really makes things difficult, because then supporters are like, well, how hard can it be? And Celtic make it look incredibly hard. And that performance at the weekend really summed that up. It just felt stale. It felt lifeless. And it just seemed, even, for as much as it's easy to jump on the manager here, and I think, as I said, he probably deserves most of the criticism that's getting thrown out at the moment. He needs to sort that. He needs to fix that himself. At the same time, there's a lot of players in that party who've got to question their desire, and you've got to question if they're actually got their head in the game here. Because Haksabanovic, for example, who I thought was actually not bad when he came on the park at the weekend. I thought he was doing a little bit more than what we were getting in the first half before he came on. But when you see his Instagram post, and you see that, is that the mindset that now a few of the players are holding within the club? Is there negatives? Is there people who want to go? And is that now being displayed on the park as well? Because it feels like that. It feels like it's so lifeless. There's some individual performances that really need to be spoke about on Saturday, but it's just not good enough. And Rodgers needs to realise it and change it now. Look, as I said, I'm one of the most optimistic fans you'll find. I don't think it's the end of days. I don't think the season... Some people have conceded the title already. Like, God almighty, calm down. 3 games in, we're still top. The whole league's in a mess, but it looks a thing. You look at the league table, it's nuts. I'm like, calm it a little bit. But one thing I will agree with is we can't go on the season like that. We can't go on trying to play like that. And Brendan Rodgers needs to bring a freshness into the side, because it's stale and it's not going to work. I think that we've got to the point now in 2023 where if you're looking to play that side-to-side football and you're looking to try and build things that way, possession-based wise, it can work time to time. Some games you will open up your opponents and you will find the opportunities, but teams like St Johnstone, they didn't have to lay a glove on us. They had it sorted. They had it sorted from a defensive standpoint. It wasn't even like they had to work that hard either, because no players were moving. So they set up their shape, they sat deep, and Celtic just found it really, really difficult to try and get in and around that. They found it hard to pass in around it. And when that happens, I think that gives life and hope to every other team around the league. You know, right, well, we can go to Celtic Park and all we have to do is sit. Because Rodgers' football isn't going to do the same as what Ange's football done. It's not going to stretch the opposition and force them on these wild runs and then using the energy to match Celtic's levels. No player on that park on Saturday looked as though they put their levels above 50%. They were either walking, they were stagnant, and that's not going to wear down your opponent. Your opponent loves that. St Johnstone loved that, and every other team in the league loved that as well. So Rodgers needs to invent a freshness and bring that back into the side, because simply it ain't good enough at this moment in time. But yeah, it's weird because I seen somebody comment on it and I wanted to actually say this as well. See, at half time, I was honestly pleasantly, I was satisfied with what I seen. I really was. First half ended, I went, right, okay, I think we've played well here. We could go with a goal. O'Reilly had a big chance that was saved. We had 2 or 3 big opportunities that probably should have been goals. And if we converted them, the conversation would have been so different come the end of Saturday, but that's the difference. We didn't convert them. And then when you don't convert them, the second half becomes harder, and then we look worse. And in the second half, it looked as though we didn't want to chase the game. Rangers is now a big test, and we're going to talk about that more and more this week, obviously. It's a big game, and Celtic need to get something out it, because things are going to go toxic very, very quickly. It's in the air, and that ain't good. A win against Rangers, I think that'll steady the ship for the next few weeks, and until we can maybe find our footing, get new transfers in, new players, try and kind of, settle and steady things for a wee bit. But no, it was absolutely not good enough on Saturday. Second half they need to fix that, because it just felt as the time was ticking away, the players were, and I'm like, how? Because they're not trying, they're not running, they're not using as much energy as they used to. But anyway, I've got a lot of donations coming in. I better cover them, and then we'll get on to the transfer news for tonight, because we're already 10 minutes into this stream. So let me run through some of the donations that I haven't already. Thank you to Ranny's Rovers, £2 saying, can MGF play centre back? To be honest, we need them at this rate, don't we? Jai, thank you very much for the 79. Stuart, £5 saying, regardless of who we bring in, it's going to be a big ask going to Ibrox and get a result, but at the same time, a great opportunity to put things right. Absolutely, because you think about it, and it's an if at this point, I'm not going out in a limb and saying anything, if Celtic win, my God, there's going to be a meltdown of huge proportions. The magnitude of them will be huge for whoever loses. If Celtic lose, the meltdown on our side. Whoa, Rangers lose, probably one of the biggest ones we're going to see. Because right now, they're at a point where their confidence is starting to slightly get higher and higher. Celtic seem to be dipping, and for them, the tides are changing. So if we were to go out and reset that at Ibrox, oh God, I think it would be meltdown central. But it's the same if we lose. If we lose, God. I can't read that out. Was nearly a clip there. God, the name. Jesus. Thank you anyway for the £2. But the Champions League draw. God, it's a big weekend, week or two coming up. Thank you, Celtic Glasgow, saying we're getting Rodgers 18 of 19 rather than 18-19 rather than 16-17 so far. Yeah. Thank you, Ian, for the 5, saying evening, Ryan. Good to see you as always, Ian. Another great performance. Nah. I feel that. Palma's pictured, yeah, we're going to come on to all of that. Jai, do you see us getting anyone else? We need to. We've got to talk about it. Come up, Boke, £5. I wanted Rodgers, but knew if he started to let this pressure be well and truly on from the get-go, he needs to sort out quickly. Absolutely can't drill that through enough. And finally, Chris, the Celtic guy with £2, saying, if we lose, should we consider Rodgers' future? No. Listen, people, thank you to Aaron as well, who's just chipped in, saying, need Brenton to be the punk to Bale's Jack Perry. Yes, absolutely. Backstage, in the fucking tunnel. Knock humps out of him. Yeah, what's I going to say? Listen, no, absolutely. Listen, if Rangers went out and battered us 5 or 6-0, right, fair enough. Questions might be asked, and we go, right, if we picked the right, if we went down the right way here. But say Rangers go and beat us 1-2-0 at the weekend, something like that. No, absolutely not. We shouldn't consider Rodgers' future. To go and consider a manager's future after 4 games. Jeez. Listen, we need improvement though, and I think you've just got to look at the signs, but 4 games is far too early for any manager, for Neil Lennon, for Brendan Rodgers, for anybody. 4 games is hell of a too quick to make any sort of rash knee-jerk decision like that. But we're not going to talk about anything like that until, obviously, post-game. But we need improvement. Saturday wasn't good enough. That's the end of that. Very quickly, some of the individual performances I wanted to touch on for the Turnbull, Maida, Scales. Oh God, I've been turned right off the idea of any of them playing at Ibrox. I'll tell you that right now. Some very poor performances. But once again, you've got to look at it in isolation as well. Especially doing this, what I do. I can't come on here and change my opinion like the weather week in, week out. That's not, that's not rational thinking. And that automatically takes away credibility in what you think is. You've got to have consistency in what you say. And I'm not going to make one performance of somebody go, they're useless, finished, get rid of them. But we need to see improvement, and we need to see better than that, because we know they have better than that. But right now, a lot of players showing it. So, let's move on. Let's try and be slightly more positive. With over 900 viewers, by the way, that's absolutely nuts. Thank you. It's much appreciated. It's good to be back, and don't worry, we'll be here every single day this week. So yes, and to end the stream, I'll try and come on to a lot of your comments and talk to you guys, because wow, there's a lot of you in here with a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions, so I want to try and cover as much as possible. However, we got an update today on Louis Palma. Louis Palma is effectively a Celtic player if all things go well, if the medical's passed, if the paperwork's all done and sorted. We're effectively looking at Louis Palma being a Celtic player. However, earlier today we got this update from Anthony Joseph, who said there was an update to the signing of Louis Palma. He was due to arrive in Glasgow later this week. Now, I was hoping that we'd see him announced maybe today, or maybe even in Glasgow today, going off some of the things said, but no, we got an update saying he was due to arrive in Glasgow later this week to finalise his move. It's understood that he was still waiting on clearance to travel to the UK. He should arrive on Wednesday or Thursday to complete his medical and paperwork. So that was the update for a long time. It was put up about 25 to 5 this evening. So that was the update. It was like, at the end of the day, it's not. I wasn't like, oh no, delay to the transfer. He was still going to be here in time for Sunday's game, right? But we have had further update. We've had further news that's more positive, and suddenly leaves Anthony Joseph having to correct his tweets, because there has been an update on his arrival to Celtic. This was from his old club, Vida. He used to play for I think it was his boyhood club, at 7:45, so just over an hour ago now. This was the last update. Pictured boarding his flight, his old club, Club Deportivo y Social Vida, which is the club, well, I don't know if this, I think social is just a social media part, but Club Deportivo Vida, they posted this: our bug is heading to Scottish lands, we wish you much success. So yeah, he should be in the sky as we speak. He should be on his way to Glasgow now to come over and take his medical and all the rest of it tomorrow. And who knows, tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, we might have the official confirmation that Louis Palma is a Celtic player, that he's passed the medical, that the contract has been signed, that he's in the door and he's here. That should hopefully come tomorrow night. It's good to see him pictured on the flight. It's good to see him pictured getting here. That makes me very happy, and I think that already there's probably a strong case for him coming right into the team on Sunday. I think that he probably should come right into the team on Sunday. I think he probably will come right into the team on Sunday. I'm very excited for the signing of Louis Palma. I think that he's going to be a really good player for us. I don't want to jinx things. Look, listen, you never know. Football's a gamble, isn't it? You don't know what you're going to get. But he's been really, really good at Aris over in Greece. His numbers are very good. It looks like he can score goals, make goals. Looks a powerful yet small player. I think he's going to be very, very good for us. And I think that he'll suit Brendan Rodgers' style of football very good. When Brendan Rodgers' style of football hopefully kicks in, because right now there's been no fucking style. But yeah, he's basically on his way. He should be here tomorrow, straight in for his debut, getting thrown in at the deep end, which I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation about right now, but I'm going to bring up some other donations that have came in since. Patrick with 2, thank you, saying no panic stations yet, but we need to wake up. Absolutely. Blake, I see a few loan signings before the window closes, more than likely. Once again, about to talk about that. And finally, Marcus with 2, saying we're going to get hammered in the Champions League. Listen, for a few weeks to prepare. We'll talk about that more closer to the time, but thank you all for the donations. Apparently he's in Dubai. Anthony Joseph was saying thank you. Well, hopefully he'll be here soon anyway. Hopefully he lands. Apparently done in Dubai, the medical. Okay, well, hopefully we get the announcement tomorrow. I reckon it will be tomorrow, should everything be passed. Anyway, as I was going to say, the Ibrox game, the derby game at Ibrox is suddenly, wow, what a change that's going to be. The likes of Palma coming in for a debut, he might not be the only one. If we do make 3, 4, 5 signings, that's a bit much. I don't think we'll make as many as 5, but say we make 3 or 4 signings before the end of the week, I think there's a very strong chance that all 3 and 4 of those signings play at Ibrox on Sunday, because we need to bring in a centre half. Scales ain't good enough. He obviously has spoke about how we'd like to bring in a left back, who I would probably start because Taylor hasn't been good enough. He's spoke how about maybe he wants a goalkeeper. Don't really know about that one. I don't know if that'll quite happen. But these other players that we're talking about maybe signing, I think we could see 3 or 4 debuts at Ibrox on Sunday should these signings get made, which is nuts because I can remember a lot of debuts at Ibrox. Even when you go back to Ange's first derby game, that was at Ibrox. We've seen debuts for, derby debuts for like Kyogo and such that day. But their actual full first team debuts, all being at Ibrox, 3 or 4 of them, potentially. That's nuts. That's like you're walking into the unknown with that. You really, really, really don't know what you're going to get. So I'm curious to see what the team's going to be like on Sunday. I think that team that we seen at Parkhead on Saturday is the last time we're going to see anything like that in a long time. Hopefully, as long as players stay fit. But wow, Sunday's going to be huge. But Palma looks as though he's through the door. As for the rest of the transfer window, the news and the updates have been quiet so far. But we need to get players in. We've got till Friday. By the way, we've had 1,000 viewers, so thank you very much. That's really, really appreciated. Thank you. We were linked with that Lionso, played for Southampton. He's now moved to Qatar. That's done. That's out the window. That could have been a decent centre-half signing, but he's gone. And there's not really been any other names thrown about, which... I don't know. I'm nervous for these next few days. I'm confident we will make these 3 or 4 signings. I really do think we'll make them. But who? Who are they going to be? It's going to be a massive, massive week for Celtic on that front, because they need to obviously calm down a lot of the support right now and give us a little bit of hope. We are understandably aggravated at the minute. It's not uncalled for. Maybe some people are a little bit more aggravated than others, and you can maybe question the extent of said aggravation, but we are entitled to feel a little bit annoyed right now. So the board have a duty and a job to go out there and fix that this week. But I'm really confused as to how we do it. We've not really heard a lot of names that are realistically going to happen. So we're going to just have to watch and see. There'll be updates constantly on this channel. And yeah. Aye. Right, I've done basically all my talking part. I'm going to get you guys to talk now. I'm going to go and talk to you because, I want to see what you guys are saying and thinking in regards to everything, transfers, fixtures. It's obviously a very, 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 very trying time at the minute. We're going to try and talk about that. I guess one thing to talk on, I think that Rodgers has lost the dressing room, going by Hax's post and who liked it. I don't agree with that at all. I'm not saying that it's not, and people ask my thoughts on Hax. I'm going to talk about that now because I've got to talk about that. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's stupid to suggest that like the locker room might not have a little bit of, animosity in it or something. But what I am saying is, I think that it's a little bit far-fetched to say that Rodgers has came in and lost the dressing room so quickly and to such a dramatic extent. I don't know what the situation with Haksabanovic is right now. Nobody really does. He's put one post on his Instagram, which ain't good, that he shouldn't have done. And for that, as much as I've wanted him to do well at this club and as much as I love him, right now, I find it difficult to defend him. And I find it difficult to see a future for him at Celtic. Should not be going out in times like this and posting stuff like that. No matter what your feelings are at the club, let it be known privately. Look for your transfer, look for your move, talk to the manager, talk to the people within the club, talk to your agent. Don't talk to social media and create cause for concern amongst the support. It's the worst thing to do, especially in the manner that he's done it. Now, as for everybody liking the post and all of that jazz, I don't read into that. I don't really care. So who was it the players who apparently liked it? Rocco Vata, who's off anyway, reportedly. Rocco Vata, apparently liked it. I think Bernabe apparently liked it, then unliked it. These are guys that, like, not everything has to be this big Hollywood story when something like this happens. To be honest, I mean, what is stopping a guy in our team who just scrolled onto Instagram late at night and seen that, just seeing his teammate and going, I'll give that a like, and scroll by, or just liked, language barriers, stuff like that, all these different things that come out of account. Why does everything have to be this big blown up story? I would be sitting there in my boxers, going through Instagram, going, there's Hacks, I posted like, and scroll past, because I don't look at captions, I don't care. So I don't think that everything has to be read into to such a dramatic extent because Bernabe and because have liked this, that people are like, this big, everything's kicked. It's like CM Punk and Jack Perry backstage at All In. Somebody's about to knock out Rodgers on Sunday. No, I don't think everything has to be blown up like that. I think that, Yeah. By the way, donation. Sorry, Rio. I didn't mean to ignore you. I was going to come on to it. Thank you, Rio, for the £2 saying, all right, troops, I'm back for Sunday. Rio, I don't believe you, but thank you. I do appreciate it. I don't think everything has to be a big deal. However, on Hax's part, it's incredibly unprofessional and immature. I think that he'll probably forget to get back in. Not forget, he'll probably struggle to get back into the team now. I'd imagine there'll be conversations going on this week within the club to see what happens. But at a squad where, when there's a squad here that has to be trimmed, right? There's too many players. We have far too much at the club right now to meet a 25-man quota for Champions League football. If you want to be involved to any extent, the last thing that you should be doing is going and posting that on social media. He's probably wrote himself out of the 25-man registration. Probably got, and that's for the league as well, remember. He's probably going to be out the squad come Friday. And then if he doesn't get a move, he's not going to be doing anything. And he's only got himself to blame for that. So I don't understand his thinking and posting it. It's really, really frustrating. But yeah, thank you to David Brennan, by the way, £5 saying we didn't draw yesterday. Well, I assume you mean Saturday. We didn't draw Saturday because we didn't spend enough money. Yes, we need new blood, but players need to get over the self-pity and get on with the job. Absolutely, David, I agree. There's too many players that have talent there that should be... I was talking to one of the guys I speak to at half-time. Shout out to them if they're watching. I talked to a couple of fellas at half-time, and one of them said it well to me. It's like, at the end of the day, these are professional football. Yeah, manager deserves blame. Manager does, absolutely. But these are professional players getting paid thousands of pounds a week. If they can't adapt and change into a different tactic and are not willing to give it 100% in doing so, then they shouldn't be playing football. I think that you can't really blame them for maybe the instructions being given, but I think there could definitely be better implementation of them on the park. But yeah, we've got plenty of young players there, pretty good players there, who can do a job, and we should be getting that. But Haxa looks as though he might be away. So yeah, Forrest coming on for Yang brought me to Manny's as well. That's 2023, and look, listen, all the respect in the world for James Forrest. And listen, he's a modern day great at Celtic. He's a great servant to the club, but he should not be getting subbed on in the year 2023. I just don't think that should be happening. And I mean that with all respect to Jamesy, I really do. But aye. DM McDonald, nice to see you as usual, Murray. Not to be all negative, but the fact that we were in the last week of the window and still need 4, maybe 5 signings is ridiculous, so avoidable. Why do we always do this? We really need to be quicker. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not an obvious part of that as well. I think that Peter Lawwell being back at the club doesn't help either, but that's another conversation for another day. To be quite honest, brilliant. Brilliant, Cal. One of the best moments of my young life. Yeah. Realistically, what do you think the score will be on Sunday? Honest opinion. Both teams to concede 5, and no points to be given out for how bad they are at this rate. That's what my prediction is. We'll talk about that later in the week. Yeah, the amount of corners that we had, and not one of them created a convincing enough chance. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. But that's a problem that's transcended Celtic for, honestly, decades, I feel. I feel like in my life, I've never seen Celtic hit a good corner. Whether Neil Lennon, Brendan Rodgers, Ange Postecoglou, Ronnie Dyer, any of these guys have been in charge. Gordon Strachan. We had a few good set pieces under Strachan. I'll give him his piece. But, wow, we're terrible at corners. And listen, we need to start taking short corners. Why? Because when we do it, they're just as bad. We end up wasting possession. We really need to sort that out. Kebab pies, by the way, I didn't get one myself, but they look game-changing. The Kiernold smelled incredible. He gave it a Stark. We'll get on his full review in the podcast, but he gave it a Starkin review. He loved it. Yeah. Right, we're approaching half an hour, and God, we're only scratching the surface with what there is to talk about, and that just shows you the kind of position that we're here at Celtic right now, which is annoying, but we'll try and cover it all week. I'm going to head off and get in my bed. I'm knackered, but thank you to everybody, because over 1,000 viewers for a live show on a Monday night. God, I think that just speaks volumes of what's going on at Celtic right now. But I'm hoping that the week makes us feel a little bit better, and trust me, I'll be here with updates as we go along. So, yeah. So thank you, appreciate it. God bless. Hail, hail. And say 10 Hail Marys for Celtic this week. Thank you very much. Cheers.